A new merged defense, the multi-gear tower, and a new siege machine, the troop launcher, are being added in the Clash of Clans update. This is sneak peek 1, so I recommend subscribing to see tomorrow's sneak peek, but alongside those additions, we have new troop and defense levels. Let's go over those first, since it won't take long. We did get a huge amount of troop upgrades when Town Hall 17 released, but a couple more now. Firstly, the Archer, improving to level 13. Remember, this will also have an impact on the Super Archer. If you do any Super Archer blimp attacks, you will obviously be happy. And remember, this will also improve the level of the archers spawned from the Archer puppet equipment if, for whatever reason, you still use that at Town Hall 17. This one will cost 17.5 million elixir and 13 days to upgrade. As you've seen, extra hit points and damage per second. Interestingly, next, the healer, upgraded to level 10, does get extra hit points, but it is only the hero heal that is increased. So it will help with queen charges, warden charges, anything like that. However, the heal to troops is not increased with this upgrade. When it comes to the healer puppet for the Archer Queen, the level of healers spawned was always below the maximum, so again, that will not be impacted. For the next upgrade, the P.E.K.K.A. to level 12, this will impact the level spawned if you use the Siege Barracks. I personally use that one in my attack right now, so an extra 500 hit points per P.E.K.K.A. and 60 damage per second. We then have the Miner, getting an upgrade to level 11. This will be helpful for any hybrid attackers, but at Town Hall 17 we see a lot of condensed bases, so the super variant in that of the Super Miner might actually be very helpful for this with the death damage. Upgrading the Miner costs 21.5 million elixir with 14 days and 12 hours. These are without any gold pass perks, and whilst I am not verbally going over all of these, I will assure that all upgrade cost and times are displayed for anything throughout this video. We then have 2 Dark Elixir spells and a Dark Elixir troop to upgrade. Firstly, the Poison spell, very helpful in a lot of attacks to help take down Clan Castle troops. I always get these in my Clan Castle donation, but should you upgrade it, these are obviously the benefits you would get. We also have the Haste spell, very helpful for Lava Loon style attacks, not really in the meta at Town Hall 17, just not really needed with a lot of the attack strategies that are popular at the moment, but this one getting upgraded to level 6 in this update. Whilst I mentioned the Super Miner might come back into the meta, we do have the Bowler, upgradable to level 9, gaining an extra 50 hit points and 10 damage per second. Hopefully you've got some of those hero upgrades done following the release of Town Hall 17, because this one does require Dark Elixir, but it could definitely be useful in attacks, because a lot of my clanmates used to use the Super Bowler attack strategy, and whilst I don't want to sound like a broken record, every time a regular troop that has a super troop variant is upgraded, you then get a new level for that. Now we move to the defenses getting an upgrade. This means that if you had supercharged your mortar, scattershot, Expo, or Tesla prior to this update, those supercharge levels would now be removed since they are getting a new level. First up, we have the mortar to level 17. The design looks very menacing, but remember, it is the mortar. I guess it's always good for deterring flame flinger attacks, but it's not the top of my priority for upgrades. Being able to improve the splash damage around your base is massively important, so this is probably the defense that I will opt for first, apart from the new defense, which obviously we're going to get to. Moving along the current defenses that just get a new level though, we also have the Expo. We did see that these 4 defenses were leaked a little while ago. I talked about them on my second channel. You can see that the progress bar is not quite at the maximum when it comes to the hit points and stats. That is because once you have upgraded any of these, you can then do the supercharge levels as well. However, the final defensive level is for the hidden Tesla, an extra 100 hit points and 10 damage per second. I have to say that aesthetically, the Tesla is my favorite out of these. I think just the theme of Town Hall 17 overall, I am a fan of. When it comes to supercharging upgrading these defenses, I would recommend supercharging all of them to level 1 before you then supercharge all of them to level 2. This is something that I advised when I gemmed Town Hall 17 to max on the first day, and I will be doing that following this update. The main reason for that, though, is that you improve the damage from the defense with the first supercharge level, and then when you supercharge it to the second one, that is when you're improving the hit points of the building. You can also upgrade more walls to the maximum of level 18 with this update, since they tend to stagger these across the lifespan of a town hall. Now let's move on to the new geared up defense and then the siege machine. This one is merging the geared up cannon and the geared up archer tower. Both of these require you to complete tasks in the builder base before you can then gear up these defenses in the first place. Since you only have one geared up cannon and one geared up archer tower, you can only build one multi-gear tower. Just like when you merge the cannons to make the ricochet cannon and the archer towers to make the multi-archer tower, the archer tower and cannon that you have geared up from the builder base do have to also be the max level of level 21. Once you have done those requirements, and you have 22.5 million gold and 15 days to spare, unless you have some magic items, then you can create the new multi-gear tower. Just like merging other defenses, this process cannot be undone once you start the merging process, and since you will be without 2 defenses during this time, it is something you would want to consider using a book to finish. Once this is built, remember to update your legends or your war base, because I see so many people that have gaps in their base from merging and then not updating their layout. However, once that is done, you can also upgrade the multi-gear tower to level 2. This will then be the maximum. 23 million gold and 16 days is what this will require. But notice, once you have completed this upgrade, unlike the other defenses I showed you in this video, you cannot supercharge this defense. You can use it in Archer Tower mode for longer range, which will be 12 tiles, but this fires slower, only dealing 320 damage per second. Or you can switch it to what you can think of as cannon mode, where it has a shorter range of 8 tiles, but a lot faster firing rate, dealing 644 damage per second. The other advantage of this defense is that the 644 damage is made up of a number of shots via burst firing, which means it can also take down a swarm of troops faster. But if there is higher HP troops and less of them, then it can concentrate that fire onto them as well. The important thing to note is that whether you are in Archer Tower mode or you are in the cannon mode, they both fire at ground and air targets. So it's really whether you want greater coverage around the base or more damage output, which is what I will probably opt for. Now, I will talk about this more on my second channel, since that is where I have discussion-based Clash of Clans content, but I don't really like the implementation of this defense. I like the defense, the concept of it, everything like that. I'm just not over the moon that builder base is now a requirement. I know the requirements are quite small, but with the 6th builder, it was always optional. And I think for new or returning players, Clash of Clans is already complicated enough as it is, that making this a requirement is not something that I personally would have went with, but that's just my opinion. Let's move now to the new siege machine, which you can unlock at Town Hall 16 by upgrading your workshop to level 8. This, as you can see, gives you the troop launcher. Launches barrel loads of troops to support your army. 19 million elixir and 12 days to unlock the siege machine. Then we can start to upgrade it in the laboratory. You can actually upgrade this twice at Town Hall 16. Both of these upgrades increase the hit points and the lifetime of the siege machine. I'll get to that in a moment, but also spawn more troops as well as the unit level of those troops spawned. Once you do get to Town Hall 17, this is when you can upgrade it to the maximum of level 4. Obviously, as with the others, I've had the cost and time of the upgrades on your screen, but this one improves the units spawned to level 12. Not your clan castle troops, but for the giant barbarian, archer, and wall breakers that are flung from the troop launcher itself. So you can think of this similar to the siege barracks, how you get extra P.E.K.K.A. and wizards. In this case, a variety of troops. Similar to the siege barracks, or the log launcher, this has diminishing health. So when it is deployed, the health is already ticking down. If it takes damage from a defense, this will clearly go down faster and you might waste some of the barrels. It has 104 seconds before all of that health, should it not be attacked, is depleted. But during that time, it can only throw up to 7 barrels at maximum level. Each barrel will contain the troops displayed and 1 of your own clan castle troops. This is determined on the housing space of your clan castle troops. So if you only had 2 dragons, well then the first 2 barrels would contain 1 dragon each. If you had a barbarian, a wizard, a hog rider, a baby dragon, and then a dragon, they would all come out in that order, 1 per barrel. Should you have more than 7 clan castle troops, they will all come out on the final barrel, but it is a bit strange to have your clan castle troops slowly distributed like this alongside the others. Should the troop launcher take damage and lose all of its health, any remaining barrels will not be thrown. However, your clan castle troops are not wasted. They will just be all deployed where it is destroyed. The only other mechanic you need to know is that the barrels will be thrown when more than 1 housing space is deployed. Whenever I would deploy 1 barbarian, it didn't work, and yet 1 minion would allow the first barrel to be thrown, and in majority of situations, the giant barbarians, archers, and wall breakers that are then spawned are enough to trigger the next barrel, and so the cycle would continue. Spells, such as the skeleton spell, unfortunately, will not trigger the troop launcher, even though that would be cool to fling your clan castle troops into the middle of the base, but heroes will trigger the launching of the barrels. In terms of the troop launcher's range, it is unlimited. So you can place the troop launcher well away from defenses so that it is safe, and it can throw the barrels across the entire map if that is where your own troops are placed. The only drawback to this is the reinforcement barrels clearly take longer to get to its target the further that the troop launcher is. In terms of strategy, whilst this is unique since you can slowly sprinkle out your clan castle troops, it just feels a little inconsistent to me compared to other siege machine options that there is. Maybe there will be some wild strategies discovered, but I'm not ready to swap out the siege barracks, the log launcher, any of those more powerful, predictable siege machines. The flame flinger, for example, operates similar to this, but you always know where it is going to go. Due to the staggering of troops, this one can be a little bit harder to predict, but if you can funnel things correctly, I'm sure you can get great value with it. Let me know what you think in the comments though, and stay tuned for Sneak Peek 2 tomorrow. In the meantime, if you want a full breakdown of the Lunar New Year event, I have that video linked on your screen. Enjoy the rest of your day.